you know what time it is. Live from the BearMuscle Garage, it's time for Fit Crew. What do we got in store for you today? Let's go ahead and share this on screen. So today we've got a BearMuscle battle for you. In this battle, we're going to be doing 2.5-minute rounds. In the 2.5 minutes, we're doing 120-foot one-arm carry, 10 kettlebell snatches, a 30-foot kettlebell overhead walking lunge, and then as many calories on the bike as we can do. We may be looking at this thinking, can I even fit all that in 2.5 minutes? I don't have a bike, I don't have this, I don't have that. Don't worry, guys. As always, we're going to warm up really well. And we're going to go through all the options that will allow you to do this workout or your version of it, right where you are, using what you have, doing what you can. But let's go ahead and start the general warm-up, which is going to activate the muscles that we are using in today's workout. And the first thing we're going to do is bird dogs. And you already know who's going to show us how this is done. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the bird dog is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 bird dogs together. It could be that this is a bit hard on the hands and the knees, in which case we may choose to do the dead bug. And let's have Twin One demonstrate how that works. That would be laying on our back. We've got the arms in the air, knees in the air, and then we are lowering opposite arm, opposite leg, keeping the other arm and leg stationary. But if we're doing the bird dog as prescribed, we're on hands and knees, raising opposite arm, opposite leg, holding the top for about 2 seconds before switching sides. So good job on these bird dogs, whichever version is better for us. Next, we are going to warm up these calves. And let's go ahead and have Bubbles demonstrate 2 reps of the dynamic calf stretch on each leg for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then we're actually going to do some dynamic elbows like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 dynamic calf stretches together. Now, it could be that this is hard on the wrists as well, in which case we got you covered. We could do this off of an inclined surface. And let's have Bird Dog demonstrate here. This could be off of a sofa, off a counter, even off the wall, but we'll be in a nice incline position, piking those hips, bending the one knee, pushing the back heel into the ground. But if we're doing this off the ground as prescribed, piking the hips in the air, pushing the back heel into the ground, holding that for about 2 seconds before switching sides. So good job here on the dynamic calf, whichever version is better for you. Next, we got some lunges. Let's go ahead and have Twin One demonstrate 2 lunges for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the lunges are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 lunges together. Now, it could be that getting that knee all the way to the ground is a bit of a challenge, in which case we got some options. We could do some assisted lunges. And let's have Bird Dog demonstrate here. We can hold on to a close by object for support, and we can take a big step forward until that back knee touches the ground. Or if getting that knee to the ground is a big challenge for us, even with assistance, then we can do some step ups, just like we see Deb doing here. And we can have a step riser or a footstool or a step ladder or even some stairs if that's the better option for us. and we could do step ups in place of a lunge. But if we are doing these lunges as prescribed, we're taking a big step forward, slightly to the side for stability until that back knee touches the ground. And notice we also want to have a good surface for protection to take the impact of that knee, or maybe even some knee protection as needed. So good job here on these lunges, step ups, or whatever version is better for us. Next, we're going to grab a super light kettlebell. We're talking 10 pounds or less, 5 kilos or less. Or if we don't have a kettlebell, then any other common household object will do. It could be a light dumbbell, it could be a shoe, it could be a teddy bear, a pillow, whatever the case. But preferably something with a handle, such as an empty water jug, an empty laundry detergent jug, or something along those lines. So with this kettlebell or kettlebell-like object, we're going to do some suitcase deadlifts. And let's go ahead and have Twin One demonstrate 2 reps for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then those suitcase deadlifts are going to look like this. So let's everyone join in here, and let's do 10 suitcase deadlifts, 5 on each side. So on these suitcase deadlifts, the object is going to start on the ground, right outside the feet. And we've got those hips super low, but the chest is up, shoulders back. We're looking straight ahead. And we're going to take a deep breath in to brace that core as we drive the ground away until we get to a standing tall position with those shoulders back at the top. And then, of course, we want to brace the core on the way back down as well. And we also want to fight that lean. We want to keep that chest and shoulders square and looking straight ahead, avoiding that tilt and lean, and that promotes more midline stability. So good job here on these suitcase deadlifts. And then finally in the activation phase, we got some strict press. And let's go ahead and have Twin One demonstrate 2 reps of the strict press for us. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then the strict press is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in, and let's do 10 reps of the strict press together, 5 on each side. A couple key things here, especially if we're using a kettlebell-like object. Notice how we're holding it from underneath the handle. And we also want to initiate from the chest to overhead. We don't want to think as much shoulder, and especially we don't want to initiate from way back here. We want to think more chest or front of the shoulder, and then pressing that up and back until we get that bicep into the ear, and that elbow is pointing forward, and we're looking straight ahead. And notice how we're not tilting the head to get into the arm. We're actually actively pushing the arm into the ear, which promotes a good vertical path. So good job on the strict press. Well, that is it for the activation phase. Now we're going to move on to the movement prep, which is where we're going to practice specifically the 4 moves that we are doing in today's workout. The first move is going to be the carry. And like the name implies, simply carrying that object to the side, only one kettlebell, chest up, shoulders back, walking around like we're a proud rooster or walking down the runway. Let's go ahead and have Twin One demonstrate a 30-foot carry, 15 feet down, then 15 feet back. And if we are doing this from the seated position, we're actually going to count our steps. We're going to be holding the object overhead, And then every swipe left and back is 1, across and back 2, so on and so forth. So let's all join in here and let's do a 60-foot carry, which if we don't have 15 feet measured out, let's just consider that 30 steps for now. We'll also talk about in the workout how much of a carry that we're doing. But right now we're just getting a little bit of a carry in here, at least a good 30 steps in or 60 feet, which is 4 15-foot sections. Now, what we'd like to do is to find a 15-foot section in the space that we have. And if we absolutely don't have 15 feet to work with, then yeah, we'll just do the step counting method and we'll have a good equivalent amount of steps to preserve that stimulus. But as far as technique on the carry goes, we've got the chest up, shoulders back, fighting that lean, just like we talked about with the suitcase deadlift. We're avoiding that tilt, avoiding that lean. We're keeping ourselves upright. So good job here on this carry, whichever version that we are choosing to do. The second move that we are doing in today's workout is the kettlebell snatch. Now, with the kettlebell, it's an interesting thing. It's basically what we would really call a hang power snatch. It's just with the kettlebell, we don't have to say the whole thing. It's understood that we're not starting from the ground and then we're punching straight up, no squat. Let's have Twin One demonstrate 3 reps on the same arm for us. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then the kettlebell snatch is going to look like this. So let's everyone join in and let's do 10 kettlebell snatches together, 5 on each side. So a couple things to keep in mind. One thing that people are afraid of with the kettlebell snatch is how it's going to flip and come down. Oh, it's going to come crashing down on my arm. We have to punch with confidence. The more confidence we have as we punch through the flip, then it will come down and meet our arm exactly where it needs to. Another thing that helps is holding the kettlebell in the right position. And so we either want to hold it dead center if that's easier for us, or on the opposite corner. And that helps with the flip timing. But as far as technique on the actual kettlebell snatch goes, we get that up into the hang position. We initiate by getting that back between the legs, and then we are using the glutes to pop that up and then punch through the flip, getting the arm into the ear at the top. So good job here on these kettlebell snatches. Whichever object that we are using, the third move that we're doing in today's workout is the overhead walking lunge, and we're going to practice this without weight right now. We want to assess our overhead mobility before we even think about adding weight. We might end up using less weight or no weight on this movement. And let's look on as Twin One demonstrates 4 reps of the overhead walking lunge with just the fist in the air for now. And if we are doing this from the seated position, then we're actually going to have 2 weights. We're going to have the kettlebell overhead, and then we will have another weight in which we are doing some curls while the other kettlebell is locked out overhead. So let's all join in and do 10 overhead lunges, 5 with each arm. Now, in the warm-up, we also presented some other options for the lunge as needed. It could be that we need to do assisted lunges. Let's have Bird Dog demonstrate a couple reps here. We can hold on to a nearby object for assistance, get the other fist in the air, and get that trailing knee to touch the ground. And if we are using any level of assistance, then let's not add weight to this motion. Let's work on our mobility And when we're able to do the full move without assistance, then we would perhaps add weight as appropriate. Or if we are doing step ups like we see Deb doing here, we've got that fist in the air, and then we are standing nice and tall. And one thing to pay attention to, some people use same arm, same leg because it's less confusing. Some people alternate legs. Let's just make sure we have some system to make sure that we're working both arms and both legs evenly. But if we are doing the overhead lunge as prescribed, we've got that arm locked out. Notice how Twin One has a strong overhead position. No bend in the elbow whatsoever, arm locked into the ear. She's getting the full range of motion, knee to the ground. We need to make sure that this is what our overhead lunges look like without weight, if we're even thinking about adding weight. And it could be, hey, you know what? I don't have the space to lunge down and back. I can perhaps lunge in place. Let's have Twin One demonstrate a couple reps here. That is also always an option as well. Taking a big step forward and then all the way back like that, if that's a better option for us. So good job on these overhead lunges. And then the last move that we are doing for today is the bike. So if you happen to have a exercise bike or any other type of exercise cardio machine that you'd like to substitute for today, for instance, Bird Dog has a rowing machine that she's going to use and rack up all those row calories, then that's fine as well. Let's go ahead and just get in there and then do about a minute just to make sure that the settings are the way we like it and to get the blood flowing, get the muscles ready for action there. But most of us are the machines. We don't have these machines. We're going to do an at-home modification that preserves the stimulus of raising that heart rate. We're going to be doing some crossovers with a jump rope if we have it. And if we don't have a jump rope, that's completely fine. And so what I'd like us all to do right now is if you have a jump rope, let's go ahead and get some singles in here, just like bubbles, getting the jump rope ready for action. And if we don't have a jump rope, then hey, let's do some jumping jacks or jumping thigh slaps like we see Twin One doing here. If that's a lot of impact and when jumping is not for us, then we can do some stepping jacks. And let's have Twin One demonstrate a couple stepping jacks for us. And so we have lots of options here to get the heart rate up with different levels of impact. Now, the crossover. Let's see if Bubbles has been practicing. I'm putting her on the spot. So the crossover is where you jump normal and then you cross those arms. There, she almost got it. And so that's going to be the name of the game today. A lot of practice. You get one, you cross those arms, you throw hard. There she goes. She got that. You see that? I knew that she would come through for us. And so, yes, anytime you successfully cross, and when you cross back as well, every time you cross and it goes through, that counts as a rep for the crossover. If we don't have a jump rope, then we can do some jumping cross thigh slaps. Let's have Twin One demonstrate here. And so we slap, same side, slap opposite, same side, opposite, same side, opposite. If we're doing the stepping version of the jumping jack, then we can do some alternating cross arm hugs. We are stepping, crossing with the right, stepping, crossing with the left, so on and so forth, if that's the better option for us, the low impact option. So at this point, if you haven't done so yet, let's all jump in here and let's practice whatever version is better for us. We've got low impact crossing versions here. We've got some jumping jacks, if that's better for us. If we want to try for the higher skill version with the cross arms, but then if we've got that rope, I want us practicing, and look, it looks like she got another one. She's doing that happy dance. So good job, everyone, on this rope or whatever we're using. Well, now it's ramp up time. If you've been earning badges and you'd like to add some weight to do either the scaled, intermediate, or RX weight for today's workout, And if we have strong overhead mobility for the lunge, like we mentioned before, it could be that we decide to use less weight or no weight on that lunge as our overhead mobility dictates. So let's figure out the weight or weights that we're going to use and do some practice reps, adding weight gradually until we get to those weights. But if we've not been earning badges or we're just getting back into this after a long time off, then please, most definitely, let's not add any weight. That super light weight that we were using in the warm-up is going to be more than enough for us today. It's very important that we have the right form and consistency with all our habits, as evidenced by earning that badge, before we've earned the right to add or reintroduce intensity, such as by adding weight or going fast. And whether we're adding weight or not, let's pay close attention to the following checklist. Number one, please make sure your device is fully charged or plugged in so we can get through this whole workout without losing you. Number two, let's grab some water. Let's take a sip. And let's make sure we got our water nearby so we can take a sip as needed all throughout the workout. Number three, I'm going to give everyone a 3, 2, 1, go countdown. And that's how you can synchronize your timer with mine if you choose to use one. Number four, music. Super important. We've got 6 rounds. I want at least 6 pump up motivational jams that are going to get you through your workout. So what's on your playlist? You can blast your music as loud as you want, as long as you can still hear me helping you throughout the workout. And lastly, how are we keeping track of these rounds? Like we said, this is a 6-round workout. We've got a lot of different moves going on. We're going to be racking up the score with either the calories on the bike or some crossovers or jumping jacks or whatever we're doing. We want to make sure we log all the points that we earned. So, did you come prepared with some type of whiteboard or notepad, or whether you're digital? Let's go ahead and see that whiteboard on screen, and let's take this teacher's pet picture. So here we go, guys. Teacher's pet picture in 3, 2, 1. Awesome. I'm going to bring the whiteboard back on screen one more time, and then we'll get going. So in just about a minute, we're going to start this timer. We're about to do this battle workout. In a 2.5-minute window, we're going to do a 120-foot carry, 10 kettlebell snatches, a 30-foot kettlebell overhead walking lunge, and then as many calories on the bike as we can do until the 2.5 minutes are up. Then we're going to rest 1 minute, and then we're going to run it back for a total of 6 rounds of this. Let's talk about some options. If we don't have a 15-foot section measured out, then we're just going to count out 60 steps, and that's going to equal our 120-foot carry for today. If we do have a 15-foot section measured out, that's awesome. That's going to be 4 round trips or 8 total lengths, however we prefer to count that in our mind. On the kettlebell snatches, that's very straightforward. All we have to think about is, hey, what's a weight that I can hit at least a good 5 in a row before switching sides? We're doing all 5 on one arm before switching. On the overhead walking lunge, it could be that we're using less weight or no weight. Let's be very careful to pick the right weight according to our overhead mobility. It could be that we need to just use our fist in the air, especially if we're doing assisted lunges or step-ups. Let's work on that mobility before adding load to this motion. But if we are using weight, let's make sure that the arm stays locked out and then that trailing knee is touching the ground. And we are looking for the full range of motion each time. And then on the bike, if we have a bike, we're just counting the calories on that bike, or any other erg equipment, if it's a rower or whatever the case. Other than that, we're doing either crossovers with a jump rope, or we're doing crossing jumping jacks or thigh slaps. Lots of different options there, or stepping jacks if we want low impact. So your score is going to be the total amount of calories that you've racked each round after the carries, the snatches, and the lunges in this 2.5 minute window. And we are resting 1 minute after each round to recuperate and write those scores. So if you are good to go, give me a thumbs up over here and we'll get this started. I'm going to give us a 10-second countdown. And then I'm going to highlight Bird Dog to get us going. So here we go. 2.5 minutes. We are doing 120-foot carry, which is 60 steps, if that's how we need to count it. We are doing 10 kettlebell snatches. Then we are doing a 30-foot overhead walking lunge, which will count 10 lunges as the equivalent of the 30 feet if we need to. And then as many calories or crossovers or jumping jacks as we can do until the 2.5 minutes are up. 6 rounds of this. Starting in 10 seconds. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1, go. And we are off on these carries. Looking strong and proud, chest up, shoulders back. Keeping that thing to the side. Now, how often you decide to switch arms is completely up to you. If you're doing the 60-step carry, it could be that you decide to do 30 steps straight through with one arm and then switch after 30. If we've got the 15-foot sections, I would personally switch every 30 feet. So down and back, you switch, down and back, you switch again, so on and so forth. But Twin One already on these snatches, hitting 5 on one arm before switching, and then hitting 5 on the other arm. And notice how she is getting it back, popping with the power of the hips. And we've got Bird Dog as well on these snatches, throwing it back, popping up with the hips, getting the arm into the ear, Bubbles on these snatches. Mighty Mouse on these snatches. After that, we've got some lunges. And yes, this is going to be a tight window today. We're looking to get about 30 seconds or more on that bike each round. And so this is definitely a steep buy-in. And looks like Twin One is just about finishing off the lunge. And boom, on cue, getting to these jumping thigh slaps. We've got Bird Dog getting to that row. Bubbles finishing off some lunge. We got Mighty Mouse on her version of the bike. Deb just about finishing off some step-ups. About to join in just in time for that window there. And we are at the 20-second warning before we hit our first 1 minute rest. So Bubbles going for those crossovers. There she goes. Yep. Boom. Boom. Getting some crossovers. 10 more seconds. Deb getting it in, getting it in. 3, 2, 1. And we rest for 1 minute. Hey, this 1 minute rest is basically a tease. I admit it. We have time pretty much just to write that score. And then, whew, before you know it, the next round is just about to start in about 40 seconds. But let's hear a quick thought from Bubbles. How'd that first round go for you, Bubbles?
Sorry, awesome. Looking forward to the next round of ropes.
Most definitely. So, hey, we've got 20 more seconds until we dive into round 2 here. Let's recuperate. Let's look alive. And we're going to be highlighting Mighty Mouse to get us going. 10 seconds. Let's get ready. 3, 2, 1. Round 2, we got Mighty Mouse on this carry. And this is just awesome to see all the progress. Mighty Mouse is an example of dedication and consistency, starting from the hospital bed, progressing to the chair, and doing most workouts from the standing position these days. But great work here. We are just flying through these carries. And these carries we're looking to take somewhere around 30-ish seconds, and there goes Twin One on cue, starting with those snatches already. Bird Dog as well on these snatches, throwing it back, punching that arm into the ear. So nice work here. Pop and punch, pop and punch. And let's get that more back between the legs there, Deb, on your dumbbell. I know you're using a dumbbell, but the more back we get it between the legs, the more we can harness the power of the glutes. Twin One, starting off on some lunges. And we're looking for this mostly to be 5 lunges down, 5 lunges back. Especially if we have the 15 feet measured out. It may take some people 6 lunges to cross 15 feet. But if we don't have a 15-foot space measured out, then 10 lunges is a pretty good analog. And then boom, there goes Twin One, finishing off that lunge, getting ready for some slaps. We got Mighty Mouse rolling. We got Bird Dog on that row. Deb just about finishing off some step ups here, and right on cue. Yep, we've got 30 seconds left. So let's get these crossovers, whether it's with the rope or the jumping slaps or whatever we have. We use what we have, we do what we can. 10 more seconds here. And 3, 2, 1. Rest for 1 minute. Yep. Quick sip. If you're going to take a sip, I would take it right away, by the way. So it has time to settle. But you write your score, you take a quick sip. There it goes. Bubbles like you don't got to tell me twice. But let's hear from Bird Dog. We are 2 rounds in. How you feeling right now, Bird Dog?
I can tell this is one of them ones that sneak up on you. So get my brain around 6 rounds. We got this though.
You hit the nail on the head, Bird Dog. Yes, we are 2 rounds into this 6-round battle here. And we definitely, those of us who are experienced, we know we need to pace ourselves. So let's get our head in the game. We've got 15 more seconds before we dive into round 3. We're going to be highlighting Deb to get us started this round. So here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Starting off round 3 with 120 feet carry. If we have 15 feet measured out, then that is 4 round trips or 8 total lengths. If we don't have 15 feet measured out, then we're just counting 30 steps. We're counting 60 steps. Switching arms as needed. But nice work here. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And there goes Twin One. Boom. On these snatches. Throwing it back. Keeping it close to the body. So notice we don't want that kettlebell getting way out ahead of us. We're throwing it back, but then we're treating it like a zipper. We want a nice vertical path there. And after these snatches, gonna get into those lunges again. Let's really pop that hard, punch that hard. We want this to be more like a zip and a punch type thing. Much better, Bubbles. Twin One. Hitting these lunges. So nice work. Let's go. Bird Dog finishing off the lunges. Bubbles on these lunges. And then, yes, we're going to be getting into that bike slash crossovers slash whatever we're doing for that. And we've got Twin One deep into these. Bird Dog deep into it. Mighty Mouse deep into it. Deb on it. But nice work here. We've got about 20 more seconds. Let's get this. And here we go. 3, 2, 1. And that is round 3. Quick sip right in that score. Whew. This is where we start to respect it, right? Let's hear from Twin One. How you feeling right now? 3 rounds into this.
Yeah, it's really burning, man. It is burning, starting to burn. 3 more rounds to go. We got this.
Yep, we're feeling it, but we are staying in the game mentally. So let's recover. Let's breathe deep. Let's just focus on this next round. We're going into this round 4 here in just about 15 seconds. And we are going to highlight bubbles to get us going in round 4, recovering like a pro. But here we go. Let's look alive. 3, 2, 1. Round 4, and we are on this carry. All the way down, all the way back. But nice work here. Let's keep our posture, chest up, shoulders back. We're fighting that lean. We are fighting for midline stability. Let's do our thing. Hitting these carries. Staying upright. And there goes Twin One on cue, getting to those snatches. Bird Dog right behind. Mighty Mouse and Bubbles joining in on these snatches. Keeping it close, punching that out. And let's remember to keep punching with confidence. We don't need to be afraid of that flip. Getting it back, pop and punch. Getting it back, pop and punch. And then here comes Twin One. Getting to those lunges, Bird Dog as well on these lunges. Keeping that arm locked out. As we get tired, it's easy for that elbow to bend a little bit, but we are actively punching up, actively punching back. And then just like that, Twin One on that last lunge, about to hit these crossovers. And there goes Mighty Mouse as well, joining in. Bird Dog, joining in. Bubbles, grabbing that rope. And with just about 30 seconds left, we got Deb joining in as well. So let's do this thing here. Breathing hard, pushing hard. Nothing to it but to do it. 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and that is it. Getting that score, taking a quick sip. Feeling the burn, aren't we? We are feeling that burn. Let's hear from Deb. What are you feeling right now, Deb? 4 rounds into this. We'll hear from Deb on next round. But yes, We are definitely 4 rounds into this, guys, and we've got just 2 left to go. So let's stay in the game mentally. Quick sips. Mostly we're just breathing, recovering, getting ready for this next round. We're gonna have Bird Dog hit us off on this next round here. 10 seconds. Let's get ready. And 3, 2, 1. Here we go. On these carries, and Bird Dog's mascots cheering her on, making sure she's doing all the reps, keeping her honest. But let's fight that lean. Chest up, shoulders back. We are doing this thing here. Keeping that core nice and tight. Doing good, doing good, doing good. 2 and 1 on these snatches. Throwing it back, popping that up. Bubbles on these snatches. Bird Dog on these snatches. Keeping it close. Punching through the flip. Treating it like a zipper. And here goes Bird Dog on some lunges. 2 and 1 as well. About to hit some lunges. But let's breathe. Let's keep that core nice and tight. Let's keep that arm locked out overhead. And then just like that, about to hit this bike. Mighty Mouse first to the bike this round. But most of us finishing off some lunges, getting ready. 2 and 1, boom, on these crossovers. Bird Dog about to go to town on that rower. Deb is on it. Bubbles about to grab that rope. 30-second warning here. So let's stay motivated. Let's breathe, let's move, let's push. 15 more seconds. And 3, 2, 1. 1 minute rest here. Hey, this is the last minute rest because we're about to go into this last round. Bird Dog couldn't be happier. Mighty Mouse is happy. Let's hear from Mighty Mouse. How you feeling? After 5 rounds of this, we're about to go into this 6th round.
Feeling great, but I'm getting kind of tired, but I'm pushing through it. We can make it. Just take it easy. Push through the last rounds.
That is exactly it. That is the message. We're just staying in the game mentally, staying focused. So let's look alive. We've got 20 seconds before we go into this last round, fast round. We're going to have Twin 1 start us off in less than 10 seconds. We got 5 seconds here. 3, 2, 1. Last round, let's go. This is the last section of carry that we're going to be doing. We are walking proud, maybe going just a little faster on this buy-in. You know, we've been pacing ourselves. Now it's time to race. See if we can get to that bike or the crossovers just a couple seconds faster. Whatever we gotta do. But let's stay on it. Let's stay motivated. And there goes Bird Dog on some snatches. We've got Twin 1 on snatches. We got Mighty Mouse on snatches. Bubbles on these snatches. Deb on these snatches. Mighty Mouse already on the overhead lunge, by the way. And so arm locked out. Boom, going for it. Twin one. Going for it on these lunges. Bird dog. Bubbles on these lunges. Everyone moving faster this round. Love the focus. And there goes twin one on cue. Fastest split time so far. All the crossovers. Mighty Mouse on these rows. Bird dog. Getting to it. Bubbles at that rope. And that happens, but we stay focused, we stay happy, we just keep going through it. And Deb on it as well. 30-second warning here. Let's keep pushing, let's stay motivated. Let's make this the last round blast round. Getting the most. 15 more seconds. And 3, 2, 1. That is it. That was the 6th round. We finally made it. We are here. And where are we? We're at the best part of the workout, which is the cool down stretch. And this stretch is super important to help us fight soreness, increase flexibility, so we can come back day after day, staying consistent and committed. So the first stretch we're going to is the scorpion stretch. That's going to be where we're laying face down. We've got the arms out to the side, and we are pushing that left foot right, getting as close as we can to the right hand. And while we're doing this, let's hear some high-low buffalo. Let's hear first from twin one. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then we're going to get the right arm and pull left like this. But what is your high-low buffalo twin one?
My high were the carries. The low was a kettlebell snatch. And the buffalo was being able to move through a little bit quicker. I was a little scared because I was like, after the snatch and the lunges, I'm going to be dying. But I just kept breathing through it, focusing, and got through it at a good speed.
And that's exactly it. You know, we just size up what we're doing. We do 1 rep at a time, stay in the game, pace ourselves, and the proof was in the pudding. We had really good split times, and that last round especially. So good job, win one. And let's go ahead and hit the scorpion on the other side now. So other leg, getting close as we can to that hand. And while we're on this side, let's hear from Bubbles. And if we're doing this from the seated position, we are getting the other arm up and pulling to the side like this. But what is your high-low buffalo, Bubbles?
High-low buffalo. So, everything's a blur. I think my high. Sorry. I think my high was I guess I don't even know, Coach. Honestly, they were everything was a little challenging. I switched my weights a couple of times on my kettlebell. I went from 20 to 15 to 10. So I don't know what was going on. I think carrying the 20s for the carries was was a lot of my arms and going right into the snatch right after that. So it was like, oh, okay, I need to just drop the weight a little bit. So, but I think the carries were my high as well. The low, I think, were the kettlebell snatches. As much as I love them, I was struggling to keep a heavier weight today. And the buffalo was definitely getting 6 total crossovers. So 2 and 2 in 3 different rounds. So that was definitely a buffalo. And what was the other? Oh, and the lunges too. So I was fighting hard on the lunges and the carries. the lunges to keep my arm very, very straight. So I was really working on that. And the carries, trying not to, I realized I kind of leaned to the side. So I was really trying to pay attention to stand up straight. So there's a lot going on in this WOD today. And it was 6 rounds. That was killing me.
Hey, but if you die, hey, you're still here smiling like you always do. So good job, Bubbles. Let's go ahead and switch to the dragon now. So we're gonna get into a nice big long lunge like this, chest up. And hey, if this is hard on the knee, that's okay. We got an alternate for you. We could do a forward fold like this with just one leg like that. And while we're doing this, let's hear from Bird Dog. And if we're doing this from the seated position, then we're actually going to get those arms back and pull as far back as we can like this. But what is your high-low buffalo, Bird Dog?
The high was the break, the 1 minute, the whole 1 minute. Low. Yeah, I felt I thought for a while I might have to switch the weight, go a little bit lower on the lunge, but actually that's part of my buffaloes because like that break actually rejuvenated me just enough to keep my weight the whole time. So I like that. It just felt like I was working and getting something done, something accomplished. So not that I would have been disappointed if I had to switch my weights, but I was glad that that break helped stick with it. And so I felt good after the end of it. And I like the ones with the breaks. That's how ultimate high.
And you hit the nail on the head. That is exactly why we've been doing more and more of these battle style workouts with the scheduled rest in order to encourage us to try new things. You know, maybe like you just said, we would have normally went down and weighed on something, but that break is just enough to give us that hope to push through that next round, which you did. So good job, Bird Dog. And let's go ahead, and we've got Dragon on the other side. We're getting that other leg forward, getting into that nice long lunge like this. Or like we said, hey, if that's hard on the knee, then boom, we got a forward fold with the other leg. And while we're on this side, let's hear from Mighty Mouse, doing most of this from the standing position today. If we're doing this from the seated position, let's get the, actually we're gonna get those arms up and pull back like this. Well, what is your high-low buffalo, Mighty Mouse?
My high was the walking lunge. I didn't have a low. My buffalo was how I used that 1 minute. It was good for me to get the rest in. And then it seemed like it gave me more push, more energy for the next round. So it was very I liked it. It was very helpful this time for me.
Exactly. That's why we keep experimenting with that. And then we take that intensity that we learn, and then boom, we apply it in all other workouts. Well, that's our WOD, that's our stretch, that's our high-low buffalo. You know what's left, this sweaty selfie, because does this count if we don't take that selfie? Let's flex on the camera and let's take this selfie. Sweaty selfie in 3, 2, 1. And crazy face. And let's put the fists in the middle for the cheer. On 3, 2 claps, fit crew. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Fit crew.
Crew. Thank you so much. If you enjoy this program, then please give this channel a subscribe, a like, and a share. Thank you very much, and see you next time.